What's going on there, my people? We back with another one, man. And this time, I want to talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo. He has finally responded to Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert has been taking pot shots at Giannis for some years now, going at his skill set, saying he's not really great, saying he doesn't know how to play basketball, and the craziest thing of all, saying Giannis doesn't know how to take care of his body. Yeah, I just had to leave that there for a second because that's got to be one of the craziest things I've ever seen. If you look up players that have made major transformations to their body throughout the history of the game and how it has impacted their level of play, Giannis would be right up there at the top. So I don't know what this dude is talking about in regards to Giannis not knowing how to take care of his body. See, a lot of times these humble players like Giannis that go about their business, they're not trying to fit in with everybody. I remember Giannis a couple of times when LeBron wanted to work with him in the summer, he was like, no, thank you. I mean, he didn't do it in a disrespectful way, but he was like, no, thank you. You know, pretty much you're the competition. I don't want to train with you. I want to beat you. This is when LeBron was still on top of the league, going to the finals every year. You know, and LeBron's still at the top as far as players, you know, top 5, top 10, whatever people think. You know, LeBron's one of the top guys, and on any given night, he could still be the top player. But this was a few years ago when LeBron was still in his extended prime, you know what I'm saying? So that's thing number one. And he also declined being in the Space Jam movie. Just didn't want to be, I guess he just didn't want to be branded under LeBron. Like, he wants to just do his own thing. You know what I'm saying? So you can respect that, but it seems like these guys want to take shots at Giannis just because he's all business. You know, really, I mean, he cracks jokes sometimes in his interviews, but he's kind of no play. You know what I'm saying? No nonsense, competitive dude. So, Gilbert, I'm glad he clapped back at Gilbert, man. I'm about to play you what he said, and I'm going to give you my take on it. All right.
Like, it can't be the media because the media their narrative is too bad. Like, okay, Giannis is pushed up there, right? Like, I remember doing the Bucks thing. Like, okay, Giannis averaged last year 27 and 10. This year, 27.9 and 13. You didn't do anything to get 16 more wins. So how do you get 16 more wins if you personally didn't do nothing? So then I look around the rest of the team. Bledsoe was down. Middleton, compared to the year before, you played horrible. Down 3 points, 3-point percentage is worse, field goal percentage is worse. But because your team is winning, you make the All-Star? Like, that's fucked up too. So now you bring in Lopez and a bunch of other guys. That's who grabs those extra wins.
Giannis, what does Giannis need to do to win the championship? Learn how to play basketball.
Those moments.
Yeah, but that's what I said. If you are the MVP, and you're not a go-to guy, then you have to understand how to be one. Take your ass into that post. Yeah. Demand doubles. Demand it. Because I don't need to double you if you're sitting at the 3-point line trying to come full speed, motherfucker. We're set.
Like, it's this, like, oh, he's the best player in the league. Not even close. Just stop. Just stop it. Just stop. Like, this gap is so big, but you're trying to always replace the next person by putting it back. Like, his work, I can look at his game and say, he doesn't understand basketball yet. He plays the sport. He won a championship. Cool. He doesn't really understand how to be great, how to be better, how to train his body.
Why do you think sometimes, I'm sure you don't care, that you sometimes take pot shots from ex-NBA players? You think it's jealousy? Do you think it's maybe because you're not the guy that goes out there trying to be friendly with everyone? What do you make of that? And does it bother you?
No, does it bother me? I'm not gonna lie. It makes me want to work harder.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's all right.
It makes me want to work harder. Not does it bother me. Do I go back home and think about it and I can't sleep? Not necessarily. Hey man, I don't know. Maybe when I'm 45 years old, 50 years old, I might be, a little bit bitter too. I might be seeing all these 20-year-old making signing a 3-year and 900 million. I'm like, man, I worked my whole life to make a living, and these kids are just coming in here, don't even love the game and making. Maybe, I don't know, but I don't think so, because I'm grateful for everything that God has blessed me with, for my kids, for my brothers, for my family, for my father, for my surrounding, the people I work with. I'm grateful for it, and I don't think I'm going to be like that. It takes more than skills to be great. That's what people don't understand. You can be the most skillful person on earth, still don't make the NBA. The NBA is not about skills. It takes way more to be consistent. LeBron James, 20 years in the league. When you think about LeBron, you think about consistency. He's been great for 20 years. Think about MJ, Edge, about getting better, obsession. Kobe, obsession. Steph, KD, man, it's not just skills, man. People think it's not just skills, and I can say I'm not the most skillful. I don't have the best shot. I don't have the best dribble. I believe I'm a very good passer, underrated passer. I can create for my teammates, and I think that's my number one talent. But the thing that makes me a step further than people is the obsession and the discipline I have towards the game, not my skills.
Man, and I'm so glad Giannis finally stood up for himself and said something, because this has been going on for far too long. Guys just taking cheap shots at Giannis. None more than Gilbert Arenas, but I've seen T-Mac, I've seen Steven Jackson, I've seen several former players kind of diminish what he is. Like Steven Jackson was saying that Giannis is on a super team too. He said the Bucks is a super team with Middleton and Drew Holiday. Come on now. That's not what we're talking about when we're talking about a super team. We're talking about guys leaving to join up that are multiple time All-Stars joining up to create a super team with 3 Supermax players. So no, cut it out. But Giannis, the one thing I could say I agree with Gilbert with sometimes is, when he's out there taking threes, the defense can, build a wall back there. And that's where you'll see Giannis get a lot of turnovers and charges when the defense is set and he's still trying to come downhill in a half-court set. Sometimes, that just doesn't work. He'll get 2 offensive fouls, or he'll get a turnover and it'll turn into a transition play. Or sometimes even when he misses those threes, he misses them long, and then he puts other players on their heels trying to stop the ball, and it causes them to get a foul or whatever. So those aren't wise shots. What I would say, a lot of people say Giannis should work on his 3-point shooting. I say he should work on his free throw shooting, because if Giannis is completing his and ones, how many threes do he make a game? About 4 or 5, right? If he dunks on somebody, they call a foul, he makes the free throw, or he finishes strong around the basket and he makes the free throw. If he's shooting somewhere around 78-80% from the foul line and he's completing those plays, you get your threes there. And they can't just get it out the net and run. You can set your defense and everything. So I actually think he can get 3 or 4 threes a game, just not from shooting behind the arc, but just making his free throws. That's just how I see the game. But as far as Gilbert talking about Giannis, Giannis is already great. He's already a Bucks legend. He brought the Milwaukee Bucks a championship. So anything after this is icing on the cake. You don't expect a franchise like the Milwaukee Bucks to win a championship, but Giannis brought it to him, and dude is trying to diminish that, and it comes off kind of like he's hating a little bit. And a lot of times it is these young players' money that the older players hate on. Like Shaq even came out and said, while he's talking about Rudy Gobert, he said it's because he's making so much money. He said he's salty about it. At least I can respect Shaq, because he said that was the reason. The money is the reason why I'm salty. So, and he's right. Rudy Gobert definitely needs to put in some more work on his offensive game. So I ain't even as mad at Shaq about what he said, but trying to diminish Giannis. I mean, Gilbert, you were a great scorer, but you were never on the level of Giannis. to say he doesn't take care of his body, to say he's not already great. I'm glad Giannis talked about skill not being the only way to get in the NBA. You need will, you need determination, you need commitment, you need all these other things. Like, for example, the play that Giannis made in the finals where Ayton almost caught the alley-oop, the flush it, and Giannis recovered and put it on the glass. That type of play right there. Well, yeah, it's not about skill. And yes, he's an athletic freak. But there's been people, hasn't been many Giannis's, but there's been people that have the ability to attempt to make that play that would just sit and watch. But Giannis's sheer will, determination, competitive edge, all of that coupled with his natural talent, his God-given physical attributes. You put those two together and he makes that play. So I don't want to hear about Giannis not being great. Can Giannis improve on some things? Yes, he still can get better, which is scary. But Giannis not being great, knock it off, Gilbert. We not trying to hear that, bro. We not trying to hear that. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Are you glad Giannis has finally clapped back? And I don't think he really clapped back, man. Giannis really just stated how he felt. But he did use the word bitter, so that's like a little shot. That's a little subtle shot. But he didn't really clap back. He just really stated facts, in my opinion. But let me know what you think in the comments, man. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.